Dear students, warm welcome to online session. In this online session, so let us talk about virtualization for data center automation. In this session, quickly discuss about what is data center, why data centers are really required in cloud environment, and how data center virtualization will works, how to provide security for data structures, and what are various cloud computing providers. With an examples we will discuss in this session. The topics to be covered in this today's online lecture are server consolidation in data centers, virtual storage management, cloud operating system for virtualized data centers. Finally, provide the trust management for virtualized data centers. These four topics we'll discuss in this class. Let us move to the session. So now we compare a data center with a cloud. As we are well familiar with a cloud, what is a cloud? A cloud is a technology, emerging technology. Cloud computing is an emerging technology which can be used for accessing or hosting lot of data over the network through the internet. Whenever we require the data, hosted data onto the cloud, we can retrieve it through the internet anytime, anywhere in a secured mode is known as a computing technology that is called as a cloud computing. Here, if you compare the cloud computing technique with a data center technique, a cloud is always work with off mode, offline mode, off premises, whereas data center works always on premises. Off premises means not physically available. On premises means physically available. So the cloud services are outsourced to the third party cloud providers who perform all updates among ongoing maintenance. So there are well familiar cloud providers are available market. They will provide the services to the end users by renting their services, by updating their services over the time period. Now we move to the another scenario is data center. What is data center? How it will work? Now it is one of the familiar term we discussed in this class. A data center is an on-premises hardware, not off-premises. Data center is a on-premises hardware or software that stores data, huge amount of data within the organizational local network. Typically, these data centers will be set up at home or an organization, so they can be run by in-house IT department only. So there is no off-premises setup for data centers. Always data centers will be set up in a huge space in an organization with over land connection they are maintained. So data centers is very important nowadays. Now we move to why discuss why data centers and what are data centers. Data centers are where computing facilities and networking equipment are located and centralized. Data centers means a collection of or a huge amount of computing facilities and networking equipment which are physically located and centralized in an organization that is known as data centers. The main task or the main duty of data centers are to collect, to store, process huge amount of distributed large amount of data over the network. These data centers are responsible for data backup and recovery whenever we require through the networking. So the data centers also host websites and they can manage emails and message services over the network. Data center supports for cloud storage applications and e-commerce transactions, even some very familiar e-game communities are required data centers to manage their online activities. So that's why data center is nothing but it is a collection of software and hardware components which are residing in half like premises, online premises. So what is data center virtualization? Virtualization means creating an environment for providing a virtual machine is called virtualization. Providing an virtualization, we need one software that is called hypervisor or VMM, virtual machine manager. But here, what is data center virtualization? A data center virtualization is basically it is a process where you can do some operations like design, development, and deployment of data centers on cloud computing is performed. So when we applied data center virtualization for cloud computing, it automatically reduces the cost of data centers, provide supports for optimization of infrastructure and resource utilization very effective. So building data centers is very expensive. If you want to construct or building data center on premises in a particular organization, it is very expensive. Lot of amount need to spend for maintaining the data centers. Why? Because the data centers will run with a huge or tons or lot of or thousands of servers and softwares which are interconnected over a LAN in on premises, off premises in a house. So that's why it is very expensive. The data center setup is very expensive. And another one is consume space also. If you want to set up a data center in an on-premises house or organizations, huge space is required for keeping or storing these data center blocks. So huge amount of space also required for that. And for providing to run the data centers 24 by 7 in a clock, we need power. The data centers is run with energy power. So power consumed is also one of the factor for running a data centers over 24 by 7 in a clock period. And when the data centers are running with various operations in on-premises, so the parts or the equipment resides inside the data centers, so are producing heat in a room. So always we need to provide cooling for data center where we are maintaining. So for that also very heat is generated. To overcome the heat, to reduce the heat generated in a data centers, we need to provide ACs, air conditioners, or we need to decrease the temperature inside the data center. So these are various limitations when we set up a data center, and some of benefits for data center virtualization are listed over here. If we adopted data centers in cloud computing, there are various benefits. The first one is reduce capital and operating cost. Capital cost is nothing but initial cost, and operating cost is nothing but maintenance cost. There is no guarantee when our data will be kept in cloud for long run without any data centers. That's why always cloud providers are willing to set up a strong data center in different remote locations. So when they set up data centers in different locations, they can give assurance to the end users that data which will be hosted by different end users that can be safe, that can be running in a safe mode, due to which they have some benefits like reduce the capital cost and operation cost. So initially for setting a data center, it is expensive, but in a long run, so we may reduce the operation cost and reduce the capital cost also. Once the data center is set up, so no need to bother about the capital cost. And another important benefit is deliver high application availability, high availability. High computing availability is one of the factor for data center virtualization. Why? Because the customer never fails. The data never fails hosted into the data centers. Whatever the data end user hosted into the data centers or cloud, the data never fails. So which means that, so whatever the operations they are performed over a period of time, the operations never fails. So that's why the data centers will providing or giving an insurance to the end users, high availability. So whatever the resources they need, they access over the period of time through the cloud computing. Always the data centers will provide high availability. High computing availability is one of the factors. Another one is improve business continuity. Suppose we are doing, assume that we are doing a business, international business. For running the business, we need to host our business related data into the cloud on rental basis. So our business is depends on cloud. That means our business improvement is also depends on the cloud. So our business techniques will vary based on the customer requirements on demand. So based on the feedback received from customers, we need to give some suggestions to the cloud providers. So based on our suggestions, the cloud providers will upgrade their services like hardware and software and also some other factors. So always the data center visualization will boost up for improving the business community. So the latest technologies, the latest software and the latest hardware tools which are required really in the real competent world, that can be provided through cloud computing data centers only. Another one is important benefit is increased productivity. So whenever we are well connected with the data centers, there is a possibility of increasing the productivity in our business. Why? Because we are not maintaining the physical infrastructure. We are simply, the business people will simply taking the services from the data centers or the cloud providers rental basis. They don't bother about what is going on internally. So always the business people or the end users will focus on increase the productivity with the help of the data center tools and services what they are offering really. And another one is, last one is improve responsiveness. The responsiveness also improved a lot based on the feedback received from the customers. So finally, I can say that there are various benefits are there, various drawbacks are there. If we depends on data centers with the help of cloud computing technology. Here, consider an architecture of data center virtualization. As we said, that data centers is running with a collection of servers or softwares. So initially, it is having some layers, physical hardware layer. Here in this layer, lot of hardware components which are interconnected together, like CPU, central processing unit, input output devices, random access memory device, and hard disk. These are various physical hardware devices which are interconnected together in this layer. So these physical hardware devices can be controlled by one of the operating system called what controlled by operating system, that is called host operating system. So once the host operating system is on the top of the physical hardware layer, we need to install one software for providing virtual environment, for creating virtual machines on the top of the host operating system. That software is called hypervisor. A hypervisor is a virtualization layer which can be used for creating an environment for virtual machines and virtual hardware. Here, 4 different virtual machines are created. Each and every virtual machine is having their own application software, their own operating system, and their own physical memory. But these 4 are not actual machines. These are created machines in a virtual environment with the help of the hypervisor. Virtualization for data center automation is required. Nowadays, all data centers are moving towards automation. Why they are moving for automation means to improve the services, for better services they need to share to their customers, they need to go for automation. Nowadays, if you observe, the data centers have grown rapidly. The usage of data centers is increasing rapidly in recent years in all major information technology companies, software companies. So by sharing their resources are building new data centers. That means that various software companies are top branded IT companies like Google, Yahoo, Amazon, Microsoft, HP, Apple, and IBM, not limited those. So some of very familiar IT companies are in the race for set up their own data centers in various remote locations with data center automation technology. They are planning to establish or increase new data centers in various remote locations to increase their business. So that's why we can say that the usage of data centers are rapidly growing, and the setup for that demand, the cloud providers also set up their own data centers in various remote locations for providing better services to the cloud computing end users. All these companies, IT companies, have invested lot of amount, $1 billion of amount for setup or for automating the data centers. So now data centers are running with thousands of servers, and they can run non-stop around the clock. The data centers never stop. They can run 24 by 7 with thousands of servers. So that's why data centers are well familiar in the market nowadays. Data center automation is required, as we said that based on the demand, we need to upgrade our data centers into automation. What is data center automation? Data center automation means that huge amount or huge volumes of hardware, software, and database resources in the data centers can be allocated dynamically to millions of internet users simultaneously with guaranteed quality of services and cost effectiveness is called data center automation, which means that nowadays lot of or huge amount of data is to be created from different sources like educational sectors or business sectors. But to maintain this huge amount of data generated day by day, we need to set up a well configured data center for maintaining on demand services. So the data center automation requires huge volumes of hardware components like servers, huge amount of servers also required, and software is also required. What is the latest software is available in the market? So what the customer needs, which type of softwares customers are looking for, end users are looking for. Those softwares also bundled, and the database here for storing this big data. So various latest servers or database servers also we need to maintain in the data centers. So with simultaneously we can able to retrieve the data whenever we require, wherever the required. But the data center automation will guarantee that they can always provide quality of services and cost effective services. Once we automate the data center, there is one factor, there is a guarantee of providing quality of service and cost effective services to the end users. That we can see. The automation process is initially started from the year 2006 to 2011. So the cloud computing will focus or moving towards the automation of data centers during the period of from 2006 to 2011. So in this way, the growth of virtualization products and cloud computing services will rapidly grow in the market. The virtualization is moving towards enhancing the mobility, reducing the planned downtime, and increasing the number of virtual clients based on the customer needs nowadays. Once the virtualization data center is ready, we can say that high availability of the data can be provided. Backup services also provided. The traffic over the data centers will also balancing and further increase the client satisfaction whenever we are working with virtualization of data centers. If you observe the today market, the data center market may increase $3.2 billion by 2011. Now it is more than 2011. Now it is 2020. More than $3.2 it was more. Now, major market share moves to the area of high availability, utility computing, production consolidation, and client base. These are various ideas are moving towards data center automation. Next, we move to another topic. What is mean by server consolidation in data centers? In data centers, why server consolidation is required? Now we will discuss. What is mean by server consolidation? Server consolidation means it is an approach to improve low utility ratio of hardware resources by reducing the number of physical servers. That means that server consolidations means utilizing the full capacity of the servers in the data centers. Suppose we are not fully utilized the services of data centers or servers, we need to unutilize the services which are provided by the data centers. So always ensure that the data centers running with the huge utility, not under utility. So data consolidation approach improves the ratio of utilization of servers which are available by reducing the number of physical servers. Suppose if there is no demand, automatically the number of physical servers will be reduced. If not reduced, it may lead to power consumption, it may lead to cost effective, and it may lead to some other factors. So always the scaling up or scaling down of data server consolidation will be mainly depends on the on-demand services of cloud computing providers. So it is common that most servers in the data centers are underutilized. If you observe the remote data centers, some of the servers, most of the servers in the data centers are underutilized, means not utilizing, they are idle. If a large amount of hardware or large amount of space or huge amount of energy and management cost also wasted. So why amount wasted, why space wasted, why management cost also wasted means that always think that before setting up any data center in a remote place, based on the on-demand services only, we need to set up or the cloud providers will set up the data centers. If the cloud service providers are not considering the on-demand services before setting their data centers, they may lose some hardware, they may lose some drawback, they may face some drawbacks like hardware amount they spent is wasted, and they allocate a huge room for setting the data center, that is also wasted. And whenever the data center is running with 24/7, power also wasted. And initially they need to spend lot of amount for setting the data centers, so management cost also wasted. So to overcome the problem, so we need to utilize the data the servers effectively based on the customer needs. Finally, I can conclude that whenever there is a huge traffic, you need to upgrade it, the data centers. Whenever the less traffic, you need to degrade, scale down the data centers with the help of load balancing technique. So if we apply load balancing to the data centers, automatically scale up and scale down automatically can be performed. So there are two techniques while setting the server consolidation, such as centralized physical consolidation and virtualized server consolidation. One is centralized consolidation, another one is virtualized consolidation. Here, the virtual based server consolidation is most powerful than the physical or centralized consolidation. Why? Because the data centers need to optimize their resources very effectively. So consider here, there is a peak for data centers. If you observe that, lots or tons of or thousands of servers which are embedded in each and every box or rack. They are running 24/7 with a lot of machines or softwares or servers which are embedded resides in a huge space, and 24/7 power also consuming here. So these data centers are well connected, interconnected to the network by LAN or WAN. So to automate the data center operations, we must consider that whenever we are going for data center automation, we can consider some factors. The first one is resource scheduling. Resource scheduling means here what are the resourcing we are providing? We are providing hardware, we are providing the software services, we are providing the infrastructure services. These resources will be scheduled among for the end users based on the requirement. And architectural support. Architectural support means a well-defined architecture is always boosting or leading the market. And power management. The management will work with a huge strength whenever we are working with a automated data centers. And performance of analytical models. So the performance of data centers will be analyzed with the tools available in the market to lead the data providers into the market. In virtualized data centers, an efficient on-demand scheduler is one of the key factors for improving the resource utilization. So here the utilization of servers will always depends on the on-demand scheduler only. The scheduling is one of the important factor here. Scheduling and reallocation can be done in a wide range of levels in the setup data centers. Next, we move to another topic, storage management, virtual storage management. Virtual storage management, here we can consider what is encapsulation, what is isolation. These are two important aspects of storage virtualization. Encapsulation is nothing but the process of data and functions into a single unit. The process of combining the data and functions into a single unit is called as a encapsulation. So the most important aspects of the storage management are, one is virtualization, one is encapsulation, another one is isolation. Nowadays, the traditional operating systems and applications are running with encapsulated virtual machines. In these encapsulated virtual machines, the data and the functions which are embedded into a single unit, for that we need to increase the capacity or the storage capacity over the period. Only one operating system run in a virtualization with many applications run in an operating system. Here, the system virtualization allows multiple virtual machines to run physical machines and virtualized machines which are isolated together. To achieve the important aspects of encapsulation and isolation, both the system software and hardware software platforms such as central processing units and hardware chipsets are rapidly upgraded or updated based on the requirements. Here, the storage system becomes the main bottleneck of virtual management deployment. Next, we move to another topic that is called cloud operating system for virtualized data centers. Why cloud operating systems is used in virtualized data centers? So always the data centers, there is a interaction with clouds. So the data centers can be maintained by the cloud providers, and the cloud computing will effectively use the data centers remotely. They can access whenever they access. Here we can consider a simple example like a eucalyptus. Eucalyptus virtual network. We will observe here what eucalyptus will do. Eucalyptus is an open source operating system. Eucalyptus is an open source operating system. It is mainly supporting for IaaS cloud. Here this is an IaaS cloud, stands for infrastructure as a service cloud. Here the system primarily supports the virtual networking and the management virtual machines, virtual storage, etc. The main purpose is to build a private cloud that can interact with end users through the internet. The system also supports interaction with other private clouds or public clouds over the internet, and the system is very secure, and the futures general purpose grid and cloud computing are used. Let us consider the example. Let me explain this example with three terms like CM, GM, and IM. CM stands for Cloud Manager, GM stands for Group Manager, and IM stands for Instance Managers. Here, if you consider a cluster, two different clusters, namely cluster A and cluster B. Cluster is nothing but a collection of virtual machines which are grouped together over the network is called as a cluster. The cluster here, there is a private network, and the private network is well connected between the group managers and instant managers. What is the role of group managers and instant managers? We will discuss. Here, these two clusters will connected to the public network, and they can share the information to the cloud manager over here. So, Eucalyptus setup or building the Eucalyptus for private clouds we'll discuss in this graph now, in this pic now. Instant managers, what is the duty of instant managers? The main rule of instant managers, 1, 2, 3, 4 instant managers, they control the execution, they control the inspection, and they terminating the virtual instances on the host where it runs. Whereas the group managers will gather the required information about the schedules of virtual machine execution on a specific instance manager, as well as manager virtual instance network through a private network. Whereas the cloud manager is an entity point into the cloud for users and administrators. It queries the node managers for information about the resources and makes schedule decisions and implement them by making requests to the group managers. So here the cloud manager is an administrator which can controlled by a group managers and instance managers finally to perform the operation well without any disturbance. Let me explain another example, that is VMware is the software company. So that can create one operating system, one virtual machine that is called a vSphere. vSphere is hosted by VMware. Consider the graph here. The vSphere offers hardware and software ecosystems which can be developed by VMware, and it was released in the year 2009. vSphere extends earlier virtualization software products, namely VMware workstations, ESX for server utilization, and virtual infrastructure for server clusters. Here, the vSphere is built with two functional softwares. It is built with two functional softwares, namely infrastructure software, IaaS, infrastructure as a service. This is a software. Another one is application services. Two services. The VMware vSphere is built with two different services, namely application services and infrastructure services. And it is also having three component packages, three computer packages, namely ESX, ESXi, and DRS. These are various virtual libraries which can be used by the VMware for effectively providing and running the infrastructure services over the period of time with the help of the storage and networks. Here the vStorage, this is the vStorage, is supported with the VMS virtual machines and thin provisioning libraries, and vNetworking, this is the vNetworking offers distributed switching and networking functions. So various computing, storage, and network are required for maintaining the infrastructure as a service. So in this machine, three packages interact with hardware servers and disks and networking in the data center. These infrastructure functions also communicated with each other to the end or external cloud computing techniques. Next, we move to another concept. Why trust management is required for virtualized data centers? So maintaining the data center or establishing a data center is easy. If you have a lot of money, lot of space, so we need to able to build up a virtual machine, virtual data center. But how the end users will trust a data center? The end users or the customers will trust the end users based on the services or security or the high availability computing provided by a particular cloud computing providers. So always the trust management is very important in virtualized data centers. So trust management is required because to prevent the data which is hosted in our data centers or cloud from the hackers. Hacking the data is one of the problems. Once the data is hacking, once the data was destroyed, end users or the customers never trust that particular cloud computing providers. So always we need to, end users need to provide trust management over a period of time for virtualized data centers. Once hackers enters into the virtual machine management, whole system will be damaged. There is a danger, provision of danger for the entire system. We can provide the security for the virtual machines or the servers, but once the hacker enters into the virtual machine, we cannot control them. It is very high danger. We can always prevent not to enter any hacker into the data centers, into the virtual machine setup. Once the hacker enters into the virtual machine, it is very difficult to provide the security for that data centers. So a subtler problem arises in protocols that may rely on the freshness of the random number source for generating session keys. Considering a virtual machine, rolling back to a point after random numbers has been chosen, but before it has been used, resumes the execution. With a term of cipher security, the plain text could be encrypted under the same key stream, which could in turn expose both plain text as well as redundancy sufficient text. Non-cryptographic protocols that may rely on a freshman are also at risk. Always provide the security. For example, consider a tool, a protocol, TCP, Transmission Control Protocol. The Transmission Control Protocol reuses initial subsequence number of rises. Hackers can hack further. So here, for providing the security, for providing the trust management for the data centers, we need to set up one detection that is called virtual machine based intrusion detection. What is intrusions? Intrusions are unauthorized access. If an unauthorized persons want to or try to access our database, it can provide a security for that, not giving permission to enter into that. So intrusions are unauthorized access to certain computer from local area networks. The intrusion detection is used to recognize the unauthorized access persons in 24/7 clock period. An intrusion detection system is built on the operating system and it is based on the characteristics of intrusion actions. A well-defined setup or system is to be built on the top of the operating system, which may lead to take the necessary actions whenever an unauthorized person try to access our servers. And IDS, a typical IDS can be classified as host-based IDS, namely HIDS, or network-based IDS, namely NIDS, depending on the data source. So, which means that we can create one IDS transfer whenever there is a threat. Before threat, we need to create one IDS, instruction detection setup. Once the instruction detection system is built, the instruction detection system can be classified in two ways. One is host-based instruction detection system or network-based instruction detection system, depending on the data source. What is host-based and what is network-based, we will discuss. A host-based intrusion detection can be implemented on the monitored system when the monitored system is attacked by the hackers. Whereas a network intrusion detection system based on the flow of network traffic, which cannot detect fake actions. Consider a simple example here. This is intrusion detection setup we can build here. Once the setup build here, we can say that there is a protection for the virtual machine monitor. Here the virtual based intrusion detection system contains a engine that is called as a policy engine and a module, a policy module, and a framework, policy framework. These three can monitor the events in different guest virtual machines by operating system libraries, and the ptrace indicates a trace to the secure policy of monitored host. It is very difficult to predict and prevent all the instructions without delay. Therefore, an analysis of IDS actions is extremely important after occurs. Next, how to create a trust zones for virtual clusters we will see. We always discuss that a well-defined or well-structured trust management is required for data centers because the data centers wants to run their services long run. Trust management is very important. Here, there is an innovation which is established the trust zones among various virtual clusters. With an example, how we can provide trust management for a virtual cluster, we will see here. Consider there are layers here. The first one is at the bottom one is physical infrastructure. The physical infrastructure is shown at the bottom and marked as a cloud provider. The cloud provider will provide the physical infrastructure of the cloud. Whereas the virtual clusters, these two are virtual clusters, the virtual clusters are the virtual infrastructures are shown in the upper boxes for two tenants, tenant 1 and tenant 2. Tenant 1 means they are taking rental basis. Tenant 1 and tenant 2 is they are taking the rental basis. The cloud services or cloud infrastructure they are taking for a rental basis. Tenant 1 and tenant 2. The public cloud, and the other one is the public cloud is associated with the globe. Is associated with the globe. User communicates at the top. User will communicate at the top. So here the EMC and VMware have joined forcefully in building the security middleware for trust management in distributed systems and private clouds. The concept of trust zones was established as part of the virtual infrastructure. Here, consider that the arrow boxes on the left side highlighted in yellow color. The arrow boxes on the left side which are highlighted in yellow color describes between zone box security functions what actions to be taken in the 4 different levels like cloud providers and 2 tenants and another one is globe. So which type of action is to be taken whenever any threat occurs in cloud providers or tenants or a global market. So these 4 different actions is to be imposed. So the smaller circles between these 4 boxes refers to interaction between users and providers and among the user themselves. Here there are smaller arrow box on the right side. Those functions are actions applied. Which type of action applied? So these are actions applied. Whenever a threat for cloud provider or tenants, which type of actions we applied will reside here. 1, 2, 3. Almost all available countermeasures such as anti-malware, cybercrime intelligence, strong authentication, data prevention, best encryption management, and tolerization concepts will apply whenever a threat will occur to the data centers. The main innovation here is to establish the trust zone among the clusters. Here, consider that the bottom one physical infrastructure. Whenever a threat occurs to the physical infrastructure, it can provide a security information and event management will take care of that can enable end-to-end view of security events and compliance across the infrastructure. Provide the full security for that. And here it can apply dollarization concepts and provide an encryption mechanism. If a cloud providers, what the cloud provider will do? Cloud provider will give the services what they are maintaining for the rental basis to the tenant 1 and tenant 2. The tenant 1 and tenant 2 are effectively utilizing the physical infrastructure services provided in the cloud computing. So with the help of the internet, they can access whenever they require, wherever they require. And sometimes the tenant 1 will also share the information to tenant 2. At that time, there is security issues are there. And the tenant 2 will pass the critical information to the, they can share with the end users, global end users. At that time also some security issues are there. So here the information from the cloud providers will be shared to the tenant, and the information from one tenant to another tenant is to be shared here, and the information from one tenant to local end user market will also share. At that time lot of threats, there is a possibility of a secure insecure mode. So to overcome the problem, we need to set up a well set up anti-malware and cybercrime intelligence, and strong authentication will also provide in each and every level to prevent the data. Thank you, students. Now we came to the end of session. In this session, we broadly described about what is data centers and why data centers are required, and what are various limitations and advantages or benefits of data centers, and how data centers will differ with the cloud computing techniques, and what is a service, what is server consolidated data centers, why server consolidation data centers are required, and storage data centers why we required, and also authentication data centers or trust management role in the data centers we discussed in this session. And we came to the end of unit 2, and total 2 units are completed, and we move to third unit in next class. Hope you are all well. Thank you.